The second letter H is your health. Okay? Can you imagine Jesus going around preaching, going around healing people, casting out demons while he's wheezing with breath, having asthma, struggling with diabetes and hypertension, overweight, trying to walk through the hot sun, and probably have a heat stroke? It's unimaginable, right? Similarly, can you imagine us starting our marriage with poor health? Now, granted, there are some of us have genetic problems, okay? But as much as we practice what you preach, what habit do you have the most difficulty with? Can anybody guess what is it? Anybody guess what's the habit he has the biggest problem with? Next slide. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Surprise, surprise, Kobe is the first to say, I violate this habit a lot of times, especially when I'm so tired. When I'm really tired and I'm already convinced I'm right, I really don't want to listen. In fact, I may pretend to listen. Yeah, and then my mind is a million miles away, wanting to get my word in, wanting to enforce my solution, wanting to go things my way. And this is where another area where the marriage goes sour. The husband does not listen to the wife doesn't listen to the husband. Next slide. And therefore, many marital conflicts can be diffused if the spouses listen more. Okay, next slide. And therefore, it's also like what James said, we have 2 ears and we have 1 mouth, which probably led James to say everybody should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slowly become angry. I have difficulty with this verse because I'm the opposite. I'm quick to speak, I'm slow to listen, and I'm even quicker to get angry. But this now where the spiritual formula that you want your spouse to be happy, your spouse needs you to shut up a bit and listen more. Try to understand where your spouse is coming from, her background, her logic, and her solution or recommendation. I like what Brother Paul said. He consulted his wife when he went around Pergola and asked, Ms. Aragones, what do you think? And that led to this fantastic bookshop. So husband, we do not have the monopoly of wisdom. Ask your wife. Okay? In fact, we should have asthma. Ask my wife. Okay? And therefore, try to listen more. Next slide. Note to myself, I should also attend to my wife more. This is the story of my wife. Story of my life. And I would spend lots of times on the laptop, writing my books, writing my article, making presentations like this, and therefore I have to remind myself, you know, my wife is Lucy. It is not Hewlett Packard. Okay? My wife is right there, and all I have to do is to make a conscious effort to shut things down, look at her in the face, and just give her my time. Time is the precious currency of relationship. It's easy to give money, okay, but time, when you offer it to the wife or to the spouse, especially in silence, listening to her, it is something precious because the time is irretrievable, but it's poured out of love for your spouse. So guys and girls, spend time, listen. Okay, next slide. The 4th is your health. Tulong no. Okay, next slide. This is like one of those things where we have a give and take relationship. But it's not like this kind of give and take relationship. I give and give, you take and take. Okay, nothing like that. Okay, heaven forbid our wedding vows are like this. You know, what is yours is mine. What is mine is still mine. Nothing like that. And therefore, one good ingredient of a healthy marriage is that you serve one another. Do you know that Lucy and I quarrel all the time? Almost every day, we go into a little spat. Our fight goes something like this. Ako nang gagawa dito. Ako nasabi. Ako na, tuloy-tuloy. Hindi, ako nasabi, ako nang gagawa dito. Okay, it's in the book also. Why? Because the heart is that if you truly love somebody and want to make the other person's happy, is that you will then serve that other person. Many people, and tragically, many marriages, they keep a scorecard. Sinong may mas malaking kasalanan? Sinong may mas malaking agrabyado? Reverse it. Play a reverse scorecard where we try to outserve each other. Okay? We try therefore to look for opportunities to help out in the household, or to help out the person in his dreams, in his hobbies. I have a very fantastic wife because I'm the writer, she's the promoter. Okay, so it gives you a good blend. Okay, I would like to just write and write, and Lucy will talk to more people about our children, our books. And that's a very big blessing, and thank God for you. Next slide. Here is the mathematics of marriage. Okay, many people think like this. You give 100%, I give nothing. Give me all. And that gives you a very lopsided, not to mention a very unhappy marriage. Next slide. Some people think the solution is to compromise. I give 50%, you give 50%. We meet halfway. Another recipe for disaster. Why? Which 50% will I give you? Which 50% you'll give me? And you have to calculate. Baka is only, bakit 47% lang? Ay, dilugi ako. Nothing like that as well. The real key to a happy marriage is this. Next slide. You give 100%, I give you 100%. What happens? The marriage is operating on 200% efficiency. Wow, imagine having a machine, if you work in a factory, that gives you 200% output. You put one thing in, you get double. And actually, it's supposed to be synergistic. I give you 100%, you give me 100%, we enjoy 300%, 500%, it multiplies. So the mindset is always give your very best to your spouse in both practical ways, in your prayers, your helping hand, your listening ear, even if it means you have to walk all the way to the groceries and buy something special for your wife. Next slide. And therefore, we give you all four. It's in the peripheral. Your happiness, your health, your hearing, and your health. And you're probably in despair saying, how in the world am I going to pull this off? That's where we need help. The central slide links everything together. It's your holiness. What our spouse needs is our own walk with God. There's a famous preacher who said, his name is Robert McShane. He said, the thing which my people need the most is my personal holiness. In the same manner, the thing that my wife needs the most, the thing which your husband needs the most, is his personal holiness. If your walk with God is intact, it's growing day by day, you'll have no problem. Next slide. You have no problem with this concept. This is the opening salvo of the book. Many people think, I have a problem with my spouse, I go horizontal. Yeah, there's a place for counseling, there's a place for knowing how to communicate, how to handle anger and relationship issues, but I submit to you, and this is the basic concept of the book. Maybe the way to solve your marital problem is, instead of beginning between you and your spouse, you begin with you and God. That's the concept. And the rest of the book seeks to develop that in practical ways. And therefore, who knows, you'll learn something like this.